This is a 15.
15.
The Grizzlies were out without two of their three best players. Ja Morant, their best player, he's out with an injury. Dylan Brooks is in health and safety protocols. He's the probably third best player behind Jaren Jackson.
I don't know. It's close between those two.
Yeah, right.
Because Dylan Brooks can really D you up.
He can he can score the basketball.
And he is tough, man.
But you would agree they were without two of their three best starters.
Absolutely.
And the Lakers are at full strength. They had been playing a lot better over the last, say, 4 or 5 ball games.
I mean, they still don't have Kendrick Nunn or Trevor Ariza, but go ahead.
That's not any of their top 5 players, those guys that we're mentioning.
All right.
And to lose the ball, again, what reared its head last night? Turnovers. Skip, you had 22 turnovers. You had 16 of the 22 came from 4 players. LeBron had 5. Russ had 6. AD, Melo. Really?
Those are your big guns.
Those are your big guns. Yep. You had 11 turnovers. If you get away with 11 turnovers in a game, you're like, okay, we're playing pretty good. They had 11 in the first half. And not to be outdone in the second half, they said, we're going to give you another 11.
They did.
We talk about it, Skip. It's kind of like a football team. If your football team, if you have a terrible defense, the last thing your offense can do is turn the ball over and put them right back out there. The Lakers are horrible defensively. And what do they do to exacerbate the situation? Turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. You can see if we got an outstanding defense, offense, turn the ball over. Well, we're going to hold you out of the end zone. You're not going to get you. Maybe you might get 3. We're probably going to push you out of field goal range. The Lakers are terrible defensively. Again, the three-point shot. Guys were getting set shot threes. They like teed it up. Yeah.
They were. They were just sizing it up for like 5 seconds. Let me make sure, like they're shooting a free throw.
It's embarrassing. I'm looking at the Lakers. The Lakers give up 17 points off turnovers. That's 23rd in the league. That's worse than the Knicks, Minnesota, Detroit, and OKC.
Yep.
None of those teams that we think are championship caliber contending teams. And the Lakers are in that. When you mention those teams and you mention the Lakers, that tells you where they are. I think the Lakers have a problem. What the problem is, Skip, they think names and Lakers win them games. Performance win you games.
Yeah.
And they don't perform well. They haven't performed well all years. And I'm tired of the excuses. What's the excuse now? You played together. Even if you've only been together for an hour, if a team was without their two of their best players, 2 of their 3 best players, you should win that game, considering what you're putting out there. But maybe there lies the problem. Maybe they think that's what should happen. Because we're trotting out their AD, we're putting out LeBron and Russ. That should be good enough. No, that's not good enough. These teams, they measure themselves by beating you. And if they beat you, okay, we're not going to win the championship, but we can say, guess what? We beat the Lakers. We beat a full-strength Lakers team. Skip, their top 6 or 7 guys are playing. I understand Kendrick Nunn has not played this year. Neither have Trevor Ariza. But their top 6 or 7 guys are all there.
I agree.
It is unacceptable for the Lakers to continuously play this bad.
Yeah.
You know what? And you can't even blame this one on Frankie V. Yeah, I would have liked to see him start Dwight Howard because they went big Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson. I don't know why you needed a small lineup to combat that. They killed the Lakers on the offensive glass.
Steven Adams had 8 offensive rebounds. He bullied you on the backboards.
Yes. And, again, the three-point shot. LeBron fell in love with it last night. AD, I don't know why they keep passing the ball to AD past the three-point line. He's shooting 18%. There's a reason why they're leaving him open. AD's outside shot has abandoned him this year, Skip. He's not the same.
He made one, and then he tried again and again. And
LeBron fell in love with it last night. LeBron was 1 of 6.
Yep.
I will give him credit. He was 5 of 5 from the free throw line. He was good in certain areas. LeBron was a +2 and +- Skip.
And he did have a triple-double.
But basically, when he was off the court, they got outscored by 15.
They did.
But that wasn't good enough. LeBron turned the ball over entirely too much. Russ reverted back to being Russ and turning the ball over. Skip, this is embarrassing. This is getting embarrassing. And, I'm afraid Frank Vogel is going to be, take the blame for this. But there's a lot of other guys. If you had a hand in putting this team together, you're equally as culpable for what's transpiring.
Well said. Mr. Sharpe, I appreciate your humility this morning and your anxiety about your Los Angeles Lakers, because the damnedest thing keeps happening to your Lakers. Every once in a while, sort of when you least expect it, they flex all of their Hall of Fame-bound muscles. It happened at Indiana when LeBron got his mad on against the league for suspending and then wrist slapping him. And late in the fourth quarter, he did miss the game winner at the end of regulation. But in overtime, LeBron just took over. And you came out the next day in your GOAT mask, and I can't blame you for that because that's a GOAT mask kind of game. And then here come the Celtics. After they had demolished the Lakers up in Boston a couple of Friday nights back, here they come to Staples on whichever night that was. Tuesday night. And it's a tour de force. And they rout the Celtics, albeit without Jaylen Brown, but they look like a real, live, contending basketball team. They look like a team capable of winning the West. And you come out waving your, is that what it is, a scepter?
Okay. Yeah.
The little crown on,
you saw it? You like that?
I saw it, yeah. I had enough of it. But I'm not going to condemn you for that because they look pretty good.
Right.
I sat back and said, But I told you, we were doing scale of 1 to 10, how impressed were you? And you went to a 6, and I said, I'll give you 6, but it's hinging, like it's now we're dependent upon what comes next and next because it could rise or fall. I need to see 3 more. I need to see a stack. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so here comes at Memphis. We know what at Memphis did to Oklahoma City a week or so ago. What was it?
72.
72 or 3, 72 points?
Yeah.
Okay. And yet Oklahoma City rebounded from that game and went and won a game at Detroit, and then they won a game at Toronto. And now you have to go back-to-back to Oklahoma City tonight.
Right.
We'll talk about that later.
Right.
But the point is, Memphis, just the night before last night, they played at home against the Dallas Mavericks, and they got shellacked by the Dallas Mavericks on that same court.
Yep.
So they're down not only Ja and not only Dylan Brooks, but they're down Brandon Clark. He was the 21st overall pick, and he's a rotation player for them. Not great, but he's 8 points and 4 rebounds. So he is definitely a contributor coming off
he
the
definitely
bench.
got 13 and probably about 13 and 10 because everybody get career highs against the Lakers.
And that Zaire Williams, who went to Sierra Canyon with Bronny out here in Southern California, was the 10th overall pick out of Stanford, and he's out. So he's become a rotation player, maybe not a force yet, but he's interesting, and he will contribute off the bench. Well, they're down 2 big players and 2 at least complementary players.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm thinking, well, surely this is the night. And in the first quarter, it looked like, here you go again, because they rose up to a 9-point lead in the first quarter. Am I right?
Yeah, they did.
And the culmination for me was LeBron got loose for a dunk in the first quarter, and he gives the Memphis fans, here's the dunk, and he gives them the little curl lip snarl. He goes snarl off. Watch after this dunk. He's snarling on can we see it? Oh, we didn't quite catch it. But he gave it the old snarl. You know what I'm talking about, where raised part of the lip.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm thinking, LeBron, they don't have their 2 best players. Are you sure about this? Do you want to, is it worth that? Is that not beneath you to be snarling in the first quarter at Memphis? Well, I'm thinking if you can continue to build on that lead, if you win this game by 30 or 40 points, I'd be highly impressed. And and I know what started to happen. It started to go south. And it went so far south that it went 16 points south. You trailed by 16 in the fourth quarter. That's hard to do to what I consider still a pretty good basketball team that has potential to be very good.
They're not, Skip. Coach Parcells coined it best. You are what your record says you are.
13 and 13.
So they're a 500 ball club.
Okay, now we get back to the biggest X factor in the history of the National Basketball Association, Russell Westbrook, who can go Westbrook on you. He has shot the ball a little better here of late. But when you least expect it, to use your term, his turnovers reared their very ugly head. These were as out of control, preposterous, laughable turnovers as I will ever show you from an NBA point guard. This is a starting point guard who's going to be a first ballot slam dunk Hall of Famer. Russell Westbrook. If we could see his 6 turnovers, please, in a row. Some of them, I just said, that's impossibly bad. Like, I don't know what that was exactly. And then here we go. Russ, what are you doing? What's the plan? I don't know. Russ, I don't know. Russ, what are you thinking here? Russ, what are you doing?
Leaving his feet, Skip.
Yeah, you just leave your feet without a plan. What? Russ? Okay, well, what is that? I don't know. And the point is, once again, it doesn't bother him a bit.
No.
He just keeps on keeping
Because that's what he said.
He said, sun's going to come up. Everything's going to be okay. He's still making a whole lot of money. He's averaged triple-doubles for the last 5 years. He's still got a chance to average a triple-double this year for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's back home. He's a made man. He's a happy camper.
Right.
So the point is, we had that, and you mentioned LeBron contributed his 5, and LeBron contributed his 1 of 6. Now LeBron James has fallen to 33% from the three-point line. That ranks 126th of 156 three-point shooters in the NBA. 126 of 156. It's just not good enough because you're shooting too many and missing way too many.
Correct.
Okay, so that's killing you in the long run. Not quite as badly as Westbrook's turnovers, but it's killing you. And to your point, you nailed it. If you look at all the stats of this game, they're dead even except for one category. You got 22 turnovers, they only have 11.
Right.
Well, it's too many more. Where they got all those possessions, they got some points off turnovers that you didn't get.
Right.
And it's hard to overcome that. Yet we did get to the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, okay, you're still in this game. It was still a fairly close game going to the fourth quarter. If I can get my sheet here. It's, you're down 7 going into the fourth quarter. And I tweeted, come on, LeBron, you got this. You guys are, I just figured they were going to flex in the fourth quarter because there's no John, there's no Dylan Brooks, right?
Right.
And what started happening in the fourth quarter? You want to talk about no defense? I hark back. I was hearing the echo in my head of the Charles Barkley line. These are a bunch of old geezers. Well, that's what they looked like last night, a bunch of old geezers. Okay, I'm going to show you, starting early in the fourth quarter, I'm going to show you 5 two-point shots that got made by the home team. And tell me what you see defensively from your Lakers in these 5 two-point shots.
Oh, what I didn't see?
Yeah, these aren't the 3 points. Okay, that's on LeBron. He just turned Bane, just went on him and went. On LeBron, that's just a layup. That's 2 on him. This is a blow-by. This is a layup line. This is a layup line. Come on. Okay, that's Culver. He just, on LeBron, he just said, well, I got this. I'll just shoot a little jumper right in his face. And really? Really? Okay, I just showed you 5. It is literally a layup line to the basket in the fourth quarter of a winnable game to me. And the last basket we saw put them up 13 on the way to a 16-point lead. I'm not showing you any of the 3-point shots. And to your point, they're just like standing wide open, like, let me line this up here from 3. Well, what do you think's going to happen? So in the fourth quarter, LeBron just ran out of gas. Ironically, to me, Westbrook ran out of gas because they each took 2 shots in the fourth quarter and they missed both of them. So LeBron in the fourth quarter was 0 for 2 and Westbrook was 0 for 2. Well, those are 2, obviously.
Well,
Hall
the
of
arms were
Famers.
tired from turning the ball over.
Yeah, maybe they were. I don't know. But if that's all you're going to get from your 2 stars, and Anthony is the one in his prime, and he gave you 3 of 5, so I can't fault it completely. But LeBron played 10 minutes of the 12, 10 minutes of the 12, and he gave you 0 points. Well, he just looked tired to me, and on defense, as I just demonstrated, he looked completely worn out. Like he did D up a couple of times in the first half. He D'd up none in the fourth quarter.
Skip, the thing that I love most about sports is that sports, you can't talk your way in or out of anything. You can't talk about it. You got to be about it. You can do all this talking. We got to take better care of the basketball. We have to play defense. But talking will not accomplish that. Doing accomplishes that. And so I think the Lakers do more talking about what they should do, what we know we need to do. Okay, every team can go. I guarantee you ask every team, what should you have done? But the bottom line, did you get it done? There's a reoccurring theme here. Lakers, you're turning the ball over far too much. You're playing far too little defense. That is the reoccurring theme that we constantly see. You're a terrible free throw shooting team. You let teams shoot uncontested threes. So we talked about that game 1, and here we are, game 26, and we're still talking about the same thing. So at what point in time does talk become doing?
Okay, I'm with you, but I take it a little different direction. The recurring theme for me is they celebrate and flex after a victory, but they're few and far between. But when they do, they go to the interview room like, we got this, and we told you so. We told you what we are. We just showed you what we are. Yes, you did. One time you did. How about tomorrow night? How about the next night? How about the next night?
They do that, Skip, But every team can say after their win, this is who we can be. Name a team, Skip, after a win that says this was an accident. Every team after wins like, if we play like this, we can win a lot of games. The Lakers say that this is who we can be. This is who we can be. But I haven't seen enough of it. I've seen more of the other than this. So I think you're a better chance of being that than this.
Okay. So I'm going to run down quickly what's coming up to Christmas. So they go to Oklahoma City, and we'll talk more about this game a little later. But the point is, Oklahoma City has beaten these Lakers twice already. Mm-hmm. And the second time was at Oklahoma City.
No, it was at L.A.
Oh, I'm sorry, the second time was at LA. The first time was at Oklahoma City.
Okay, yeah.
Russ's return. LeBron did not play in either one of these games, but they blew with just Russ going solo. They blew a 26-point lead at Oklahoma City and lost, and then they lost by 3 at Staples.
After blowing a 19-point lead.
A 19-point lead. Okay, so that's tonight, and then you get Orlando on Sunday at home.
Orlando might get them.
I don't think so.
I didn't think so last night.
Okay, then they go at Dallas.
Oh, that's a L.
At Minnesota. They're much improved. What
are they going to do with Cat?
I don't know.
What are they going to do with Edwards?
Ant.
Yeah.
At Chicago comes next.
You already know what happened in that one.
Phoenix at home. Spurs at home.
Man, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I must have been drinking. You let me, and you took that bet from me, too.
Well, you broached it. I didn't. You started it.
You could have said, nah, man, I can't let you do that.
I was so shocked. It took me a second to digest it. I said, oh, sure, I'll take that.
That's when you come in and says, nah, Shannon, don't make that bet. I can't
save you from yourself.
Yes, I can't even in good conscience accept this.
And this schedule culminates on Christmas Day with the Brooklyn Nets.
We got that one.
At what will then be called Crypto?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got that one.
Or the Crypt.
We got that one.
Right?
We got that one, Skip.
You got that one. I have predicted that Frankie V could be a goner by Jan 1. So we're starting the December countdown before the 2022 start of the new year. Right. And I just think he's on a hotter and hotter seat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If this teeters along like this, if they hit... especially if they lose a big stage game to Brooklyn,
right,
and maybe get embarrassed again, who knows? But if they do that, then I think Jeannie's going to be forced to really have a post-Christmas session with herself and with others up high and say, well, wait a second, something has to change here. And the only thing that's changeable is the head coach. It
is. But let me ask you a question. What is David Fizdale or whomever else is on the bench, what is he going to say different than what Frankie V is telling him? Okay, if he says something different, what about what they're doing? It's not the difference in talking, it's the difference in doing that's going to relate to wins as opposed to more losses.
Yeah,
that's the problem, Skip.
Unless you completely change the feel of the head coaching position, where Fizz is more, he's a player's coach. He's very tight with LeBron. You could argue to a fault, but I don't know. Maybe they just need to be hugged a little bit more.
Nah, they need to be put in them.
Well,
Skip, you 13-13.
13-13. So you want a hard-ass coach?
Yes.
You want to bring Luke Walton back?
No, hell no, I want no Luke Walton back. Skip, they got to have accountability. Because there's no accountability. It's like, look, we got to be more consistent. No, it's unacceptable, the amount of turnovers. It's unacceptable, the lack of defense that we play. The one thing that we can absolutely be sure of, Skip, they're going to be consistently bad defensively. They're going to consistently turn the basketball over. Because how many times have said they did a great job of taking care of the basketball? They played 26 games. We might have said that 3 or 4 games. How many times we said defensively they played really good tonight? They played 26 games, maybe a handful of times. So more times than not, they've been a bad defensive team and a high turnover team. That is the consistency. We need the consistency the other way. We haven't got that. They keep telling us what we could be. I see better than I hear. I hear what you're telling me, but that ain't what I see when I watch it.
First in defensive efficiency a year ago, now plunging to 14. It's just not good enough.
Right.
Because you're not explosive offensively enough to overcome it. It's not like you're scoring 150 a night.
Right.
You're not capable of doing that.
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay. So there you go. And there you went.
Right. So you're a middle-of-the-pack defensive team. You're a upper echelon turnover team. You see where this is going, Skip? You see where that's going, right? Okay.
And you're a poor shooting team.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're a poor three-point shooting team and defending team.
And if I see one more time Frankie V call a timeout, and they come out there with that sorry bull jive wheel route. LeBron get the ball. He handed it off to Monk. Monk handed it off to this one. And he handed it off to that one. You don't do that at no other time except after timeout, after the team is going on an 8-0 or a 10-2 run. Where's the offense? Where's the offense before that?
You sound like a Laker fan.
I sound like a truth teller. I know everybody else tired of that bull job too. Every time out of a timeout, we gonna run the offense out of the timeout. But you don't run offense at any other time in the game.
Frankie V is about to be a goner.
I'm about to be a goner. I'm about a month away from finding me a new team.
Really?
Shannon, our Lakers have a lot of work to do. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.